Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. My name is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect, and you guys are my intellects. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know that I had this scheduled for 9 o'clock, but if I'd have waited till 9 o'clock, I'd have been asleep. So I said, self said, you better get on here and just try to just hope the people come a little bit early. And you guys have came early and I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Make sure that you hit the like on the way in. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. We are like 20-ish away from 8,000. So maybe we can get to our 8,000 mark before we leave the live. Wouldn't that be dope? Somebody brought that to my attention today. I wasn't really paying attention to it, but I am grateful and I am thankful that you guys keep subscribing to this channel. You keep supporting your girl. I appreciate it. Linda, thank you so much for being up in the chat with us today. Tommy, Be Woke, Feels Good, Devonray, I'm probably messing your name up. I'm sorry. Annette, Aladdy, Jean, Jackie, Jeff, thank you so much. Do as he said. He is the mod. He said, hit that like button on your way in so that we can get the algorithm going, because I did start 15 minutes early. So if anybody is waiting for 9 o'clock, they're probably going to be mad. But listen, I was on my way out of here. I had a long day. Hey, Ray, Jace and Sharon, Love Jones, Miss Bees. Yes, the man is wearing a clergy collar. This whole entire Trump thing has been very interesting. If you guys have been following my wall, I try to post. Of course, I didn't post all 19 of the mugshots. I was going to put the whole list, but by now we've seen them. But I did make sure that I posted the mugshots of the story that we went over last Friday related to Cuddy. I go by last names. Cuddy, Floyd, and Lee, which are on the thumbnails. Lee is the clergy. Floyd is the black guy that looked like he can't see, squinting his eyes. And then you have Cuddy, who was the ex. She's the ex, or Cootie. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She is the ex-publicist for Kanye West and R. Kelly. And all of them are out of Chicago. And last Friday, we have footage related to Cuddy and Floyd. And so I thought it would behoove us to kind of cursory go back over that, because I'm tired. I'm probably not going to be here too long. But we're going to go over that. And then today, Floyd, who was the only one that we saw that was remanded, because he didn't come in with a lawyer. So he flew in. Most of these defendants include Donald Trump, Meadows, all of them. They had an attorney who negotiated their bond. So that's why they were able to go into Fulton County jail, which is like a horrible jail. They were able to go in there and be in and out like a drive-through because they had already negotiated bail. Well, with Floyd, apparently he didn't have a lawyer. He didn't get the memo because he's probably not even in the group. Or maybe he couldn't afford one, which we'll see because we have the hearing video that we're going to go over. But he went in there just all bossed up and didn't know that the normal protocol is you have to wait before you can stand before a judge. So he was going to be in there overnight, which he was. And today there was an emergency hearing of which we have the footage to. But before we get started, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page, because I know I often say, go back and watch the other video, because I do want you guys to watch my videos. But I'm not going to put you through all of that before I put the videos up, because I want to make sure that everyone over here is on the same page on what we are talking about. As you guys pile in here, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we got a lot to get into today. So what I'm going to do, because I like documents. I know there's a lot of articles, but I am going to pull up the indictment, and I'm going to need, hopefully, we probably won't really need, the mods to be working that hard, except to make sure you guys hit that good like button and tell me what numbers are there. But my daughter had to get shots. She's only 4. So she had to get shots for school today. And Dev, he's more sad than what my daughter was. So they out there consoling each other. So I don't know if he's gonna get on this live. Literally, the nurse was like, "Are you okay?" And then my daughter was like rubbing his face, like, "Dad, are you okay?" But it was rough on her though, because she's never really had to get vaccinations like that. But anyway, I digress. So I'm going to go over just those acts related to the individuals that are on the thumbnail. So that's Harrison Floyd, that's Cuddy, and that's Stephen Lee. Okay, those are the 3 that are actually on the thumbnail. So let me go. We're going to start at count 87. So this is how I want you guys to know exactly what's going on. And we're going to take this straight out the indictment. As Willie Lewis, what? Y'all, if people in the chat already tripping, make sure y'all do what you got to do. Let me see. So let's go to count 87. Ooh, this is a long. You guys see it's 98 pages, right? So that's why we're taking this in increments. We're going to take this in a group. So hopefully maybe every Friday we can talk about somebody new. But this indictment is just too long to try to go line by line, precept by precept, because we'll all be bored and sleep. So Act 87. So these are the alleged overt acts. So on or about the 14th day of December 2020, Stephen Cliffgard Lee. Now he is the one with the clergy collar. Let's find him. That's him right there. He's the one with the clergy collar. Y'all see him? Okay. Now he attempted to commit the felony offense of influencing witnesses in violation of OCGA section 1610-93B1A in Fulton County, Georgia, by traveling to the home of Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker, and speaking to her neighbor with intent to knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward Ruby Freeman by purporting to offer her help and with intent to influence her testimony in an official proceeding in Fulton County, Georgia, concerning events at State Farm Arena in the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election in Georgia. And this was an act of racketeering activity pursuant to OCGA section 16-14-3 sub 5-8. Y'all see all of that? And it was an overt act and furtherance of the conspiracy. Then we have Act 88. On or about the 15th day of December 2020, Stephen Cliffgard Lee attempted to commit the felony offense of influence a witness in violation of OCGA Section 16 in Fulton County by traveling to the home of Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker, and knocking on her door with intent to knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward Ruby Freeman by purporting to offer her help and with the intent to influence her testimony in an official proceeding in Fulton County, Georgia. We got Act 89. On or between 15th day of December 2020 and the 4th day of January 2021, Stephen Cliffgard Lee solicited Harrison William Prescott Ford. Now we know who that is. That is, let's put his picture up. That's him right there. That's the one that was remanded to jail out of all the people. And he also had a hearing today that we are going to go over that video footage of. So he allegedly, these are all allegations. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. On or between the 15th day of December 2020 and on the 4th day of January 2021, Stephen Cliffgard Lee, that's the collar guy, solicited Harrison Williams, that's the black guy, an individual associated with the organization of Black Voices for Trump, to assist with his efforts to speak to Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker. Stephen Cliffgard Lee stated to Harrison William Prescott Floyd, he got a lot of names, a whole lot of names. Probably took him a minute to learn how to spell his name in kindergarten, that Freeman was afraid to talk to Stephen Cliffgard Lee because he was a white man. These were overt acts and furtherance of the conspiracy. So basically, the guy with the collar, the Pastor Lee, solicited Harrison Floyd, the black guy, because he felt like the reason why Ruby Freeman wouldn't talk to him was because he was white. So he said, well, let me go get the black person so she can feel comfortable. And he did it. So let's go move on down to Act 115. In Act 115, let's see here. On or about the 3rd day of January 2021, Stephen Cliffgard Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd, and Trevion Cuddy. Now we know who Trevion Cuddy is. She is the former publicist of R. Kelly and Kanye West. And she's the one sitting here with this goofy smile on her face for a mugshot. Perhaps she thinks this is some type of publicity thing because she's a publicist and she wants to look unbothered. But sweetie, you better start looking bothered because Madam DA, Fonnie Willis, is playing no games. She is ready. She says she is ready, willing, and able to start these trials in October. So I don't know what you're cheesing about unless you have already talked to your lawyer who already is setting up for your deal, who is already setting up for you to sing like a bird. That's the only way you should be smiling, is if this is already setting up for you. That's the only way you should be smiling. Other than that, you shouldn't be smiling like that, man. Now, if you setting yourself up to do all that, I'll be smiling too. But right now, this is some serious stuff that you're going through right now. So let's get back to here. So on or about the 3rd day of January 2021, Stephen Cliffgard Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd, and Trevion Cuddy placed multiple telephone calls and sent text messages to each other and to other individuals involved in the conspiracy. They include the following. At 7:48 p.m., Harrison William Prescott Floyd placed a telephone call to Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker. So now you got Floyd calling Ruby on the phone. At 7:49, 1 minute later, Harrison William Prescott Floyd placed a telephone call to Ruby Freeman. So a minute later, you call the lady again. Then at 7:49, Harrison William Prescott places a call for Trevion Cuddy. So when you can't get in touch with Freeman, when she don't pick up, you call the ex-publicist to Kanye, which is Cuddy. At 7:53, Harrison William Prescott Floyd sent a text message to Ruby Freeman. So she not picking up. So now you send a text message to the lady. At 8:03, Trevion Cuddy placed a telephone call to Harrison Floyd. So now you got Cuddy to contacting Floyd. At 8:11, Harrison William Prescott Floyd placed a telephone call to an unindicted co-conspirator individual whose identity is known to the grand jury. So then he tries to contact somebody else who is considered a co-conspirator, but they haven't been indicted, according to Madam DA. At 8:18, Harrison William Prescott Floyd placed a telephone call to Stephen Clifford Lee. So then now you got Floyd then called the pastor. Okay, Pastor Lee. At 8:48 p.m., Harrison William Prescott Floyd placed a phone call to Cuddy. At 9:16, Harrison Floyd placed a telephone call to Trevion Cuddy. At 9:33, Harrison Floyd placed a telephone call to Trevion Cuddy. At 9:50, Harrison Floyd placed a telephone call to Stephen Clifford Lee. Okay. Y'all ain't got nothing else to do but play phone tag with each other for what? How long was this going on? All these phone calls happened within the span of 2 hours. Act 116. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Trevion C. Cuddy. Now, again, we know who that is. Let's put her picture up again, just for those that are coming in. That's her with the goofy smile on the mugshot. That's who that is. So he places a call to Trevion. Trevion Cuddy having been recruited. So according to this indictment, she was recruited by Harrison Floyd, traveled from Chicago, Illinois to Atlanta, Georgia, and caused a certain individual whose identity is known to the grand jury to pick her up from a train station in Fulton County, Georgia, for the purpose of attempting to contact Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County GA election worker. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So you go to Atlanta and you just call your homegirl, homeboy that you know from Atlanta and tell them to come pick you up. And you could have got them all caught up in the game. But at least she's not identifying them as an unindicted co-conspirator. They just say that it's a certain individual and that the grand jury knows. So that's a good sign. Act 117. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Trevion Cuddy traveled to Ruby Freeman's home in Cobb County, Georgia, and attempted to contact her, but was unsuccessful. Trevion Cuddy spoke with Freeman's neighbor. So you knocked on her door, she didn't answer, so then you go bother her neighbors, and falsely stated that she was a crisis manager attempting to help Freeman before leaving Freeman's home. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Act 118. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Trevion C. Cuddy, while in Fulton County, Georgia, placed a telephone call to Ruby Freeman and stated that Freeman was in danger. So she calls Miss Freeman and says, "You're in danger." So Trevion Cuddy stated that she could help Freeman and requested that Freeman meet with her and speak with her that night at a Cobb County Police Department precinct in Cobb County, Georgia. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Trevion Cuddy traveled to Cobb County Police Department precinct in Cobb County, Georgia, and met with and spoke to Ruby Freeman for approximately 1 hour. Harrison Prescott Floyd joined the meeting by telephone. Trevion Cuddy and Harrison Prescott Floyd stated to Freeman that she needed protection and purported to offer her help. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So let's go over. This is the video of when at the Cobb County Jail, Trevion Cuddy, this is body cam from the police that were present, talked to Miss Freeman. So Miss Freeman did agree to meet with Cuddy at the precinct. And we saw that video last week, but I think we could, it behoove us to watch it again. Make sure I have the captions are on because the volume is low. That's how it was recorded, because that police officer was not in their face. She was some feet away. So until there's times towards the end of the video where Travion raises her voice, but and then you can hear, but otherwise she was trying to be discreet talking to Freeman, because of course she don't want nobody else to hear the bull crap that she was allegedly trying to spew, according to the DA.
Great to meet with us. We didn't want to frighten you, but we had to find you within this time bracket. I'm here because I received a call. Not that I didn't know about this situation before, because I had heard, but it wasn't a serious concern for me because I had absolutely nothing to do with it. We would like to let you know first and foremost, we have put in placement a way to move you, to secure you from what may be on the horizon within the next 48 hours. And we have probably 48 hours in which to move you. You may do it on your schedule. I cannot say what specifically will take place. I just know that it will disrupt your freedom and particularly the freedom of one or more of your family members. I would like to connect now on the phone Harrison Floyd, who would be taking this situation to a detailed level for you to let you know exactly what is at stake.
Oh, so Marsha Brahma, if that's your real name in real life. So you make a comment, because I'm going over an indictment. Yes, I got time tonight. You make a comment as if I'm one-sided, as if this indictment is saying something else. You may not like what the indictment says, but this video speaks for herself, and this is what's going on. I said it was allegedly. That's all I can say. If you want to talk about Black people, you definitely should not be talking about Donald Trump. Because let's go all the way back. Let's talk about the exonerated five. Let's talk about all of the stuff he said in the paper, and them little boys hadn't done nothing and got all that time being alleged for SA-ing someone, and it was all untrue. And you wanted him to get the death penalty, and Trump put it in a paper and put out an ad and wanted them to be prosecuted extent of the they were innocent. Let's talk about Trump's dad, since you want to talk about racism. Let's talk about all the housing and all of the lawsuits that were against Black people on how they were treating them and discriminating them in those apartments, allegedly. Let's talk about his son-in-law over there in Baltimore and those apartments. Like, this ain't what you want to do. I don't care one way or another. I'm just reporting what I have to report. If you don't like it, you have every right to leave. Now I'm going to continue with this video, and I want you to continue to listen if you over here. Otherwise, you can leave. And I don't care if you've been with me before or not. I don't really care. Let's proceed.
Whether you choose or not to deal with us, I am not your enemy. This is Garrison. He works with me. You are elusive for a party that needs to tidy up. I work with some of the biggest names in the industry. Crisis is my thing. One thing we don't want to do for you is create another crisis. I'm going to call Harrison Floyd. I'm going to put him on speaker. Who is Harrison Floyd? Harrison Floyd is Harrison Floyd. Is of that who works in crisis management at a very high level with authoritative powers to give you the protection that you need. And I do want the officer to know this is at this moment a conversation in between private citizens. I am hoping that you are trusting that this information doesn't go any further. I have to honestly advise, I don't know her background.
I can step over there if you're comfortable. That's fine?
Yeah, I want her to be comfortable, but I also want to advise her that there are federal people who are involved here that I don't.
Did she not just tell this lady, according to this body cam, that there are federal people involved and you're basically saying this lady is in trouble, and you're trying to give her a chance to say, oh yeah, I confess the election was rigged, or the election, there was fraud in the election, and I did wrongdoing. So what they're trying to do is get her to agree, allegedly, and this video corroborates some of the stuff that they're saying, that she was going to go ahead and testify and say, hey, I was an election worker, and yeah, I did some wrong in front of the committee, so it'll help Donald Trump. This is what this video is about. Now, what I will say, which I said in the other video, to me, it sounds like Cuddy had limited information, because clearly she was recruited, as they said, by Floyd. So it sounds like she may have had limited information on the totality of what they were doing. And this is her job, doing PR and crisis management. So I said that last Friday, and I'll say that again, because to me, she was talking in circles. She was saying a whole lot of nothing. Now, granted, these are snippets. Obviously, if she talked to the lady for an hour, then we don't have the whole conversation. This is just part of the body cam. So I will give that disclaimer as well.
Know who is connected to who, and I really need for her to be as nonchalant as possible with this conversation that we are going to have, so that if she does make a decision, she's protected in her decisions.
Okay, so basically, again, for those that didn't watch it before, she meets with, as the indictment says, according to this body cam, she met with them at the Cobb County Jail. Now, if you want to meet with somebody and you don't feel safe, you can ask, I suppose, to go to the precinct or wherever and ask if you can meet with them, because you want somebody to monitor what's going on if you don't know these random people. So just imagine some random people coming to your door because they know you were an election worker, and because they want Trump to get reelected, and they've somewhat been recruited, allegedly, in order to keep this narrative going. So let me finish this portion of the indictment, and then we're going to get into Floyd, who, again, as I posted, he was the only one that was actually remanded. So let's get to Act 120. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Stephen Clifford Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd, and Trevion C. Cuddy committed the felony offenses of solicitation of false statements and writings in violation of OCGA by soliciting, requesting, and importuning Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker, to engage in conduct constituting the felony offense of this false statements and writing, by knowingly and willfully making a false statement and representation concerning events at State Farm Arena in the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election in Georgia. Said statement and representation being within the jurisdiction of the Office of the Georgia Secretary of State and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Department of Agencies of State Government, and county and city law enforcement agencies, with intent that said person engaged in said conduct. This was an act of racketeering activity under the law. On or about the 4th day of January 2021, Stephen Clifford Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd, and Trevion C. Cuddy committed felony offense of influencing witnesses in violation of OCGA Section 16-10-93 in Fulton County, Georgia, by knowingly and unlawfully engaging in misleading conduct toward Ruby Freeman, a Fulton County, Georgia election worker, by stating that she needed protection and by purporting to offer her help with intent to influence her testimony in an official proceeding in Fulton County, Georgia, concerning events at State Farm Arena in the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election in Georgia. This was an act of racketeering. And you guys also have to remember, Ruby Freeman testified in front of Congress about this. And I'm sure she's going to testify in this case. So, yeah. So it's not like they again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But this is nothing that the DA pulled out of her hat. Okay. Now, So again, we had all of the bug shots from all three of those, and yesterday we had Floyd, who was remanded. So we heard all of this information. We all know how the rumors about Fulton County Jail, how terrible it is, how it got bed bugs, how the smell is horrible, and they're really highlighting that because you got all these business, professional, wealthy, highfalutin people now that they're like might end up in Fulton County Jail. But of course, all of them, they wasn't there nothing but 15 minutes, 20 minutes because they already had a bond. So today, Floyd had his first appearance because he was the one that was remanded to jail. So we're about to watch that right now. I think this came from Fox 5 Atlanta. Let me put that
Been brought against you, and then
let me go back.
from you today, all right? So we're not dealing with that. What today is just where I advise you of your rights and advise you of the charges that have been brought against you, and then talk to you about your right to counsel and your appointment of counsel, okay? So first I want to talk to you about your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You need to be aware that the state, the DA's office, is present here at this hearing, and so I advise you to remain silent. You have the right to a lawyer. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you at no cost. All right? Are you aware of the charges that have been brought against you in this indictment?
Yes, ma'am. The DA's office pulled me aside yesterday and they didn't Mirandize me and tried to talk about something.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what you're referring to.
Okay. I'm referring to the indictment where you have been charged in count 1 with violation of the Georgia RICO, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, as well as in counts 30 and 31, which is for conspiracy to commit solicitation of false statements and writings and influencing witnesses. So those are the charges that have been brought against you in this indictment. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. I believe those are the same ones that the DA's office called and threatened and coerced my in-laws with trying to get me down here. I think those are the same ones.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Your case has been assigned to Judge Scott McAfee, all right? He's going to be the judge who is assigned to your case, who's going to be handling it from this point forward. I am just handling this first appearance here.
Wait a minute. Did you guys hear him say, oh, yeah, I think those are the same charges that the DA's office told me about when they called my in-laws and threatened and coerced me that I better come down here? And the judge is like, yeah, okay.
Today because I am filling in for the presiding judge. All right? Okay. At this point, I will hear from the state. Is there anything the state needs to add?
Adam Nay with the state, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Floyd, have you retained a lawyer?
I requested one who have been denied, Your Honor.
Okay. So you have spoken with someone from the public defender's office, and you were told that you do not qualify. Is that correct?
Denied representation, yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Floyd, you have the right to then hire a lawyer of your choice, or of course, you're always welcome to proceed pro se. But because you do not qualify for a public defender, you have the right to retain a lawyer of your choice. Okay?
I've spoken with several different attorneys before flying out here. The cost is typically between $40,000 to $100,000 just to retain a lawyer for these charges, and then they charge hourly that I cannot afford. I'm not going to put my family in that kind of debt, especially with my daughter. I cannot afford an attorney for something like this.
Okay. Well, Scott McAfee, Judge McAfee will go through the process if you choose to represent yourself and to not retain a lawyer. He will go through that process and those questions with you. I just want to advise you of your right at this point
that if you wish to hire a lawyer, you have the right to do so. Okay? Okay. All right. Pretrial services. Can you give me any information about Mr. Floyd's criminal history?
Yes, ma'am. I have one prior. It was from May 15th, 2023. It's a Maryland FBI. It was simple assault on a federal officer. And it was given bail supervision for 5 years on charge of simple assault misdemeanor. Nothing further.
That's still an open case, Your Honor. It's not, I do not have a criminal record.
I understand, Mr. Floyd. Thank you. I understand that it's just charges against you. Okay? All right. All right. Okay, Mr. Floyd, the issue of bond is not going to be addressed today. That's going to be addressed by Judge McAfee, who's assigned to your case. But to the extent that you're here in front of a judge, I do find that based on the open charge against you, there are grounds for bond to be denied at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and find that you are a risk to commit additional felonies and a potential risk to flee the jurisdiction. So I'm going to deny bond, but a full consideration of bond will be addressed by Judge McAfee as your case moves forward. Do you understand?
Now, this was a bunch of bull, but we'll talk about that when this finished, when I finish this video.
So the charges brought against me by the federal government were first presented in the state by the FBI. The state decided to not prosecute. On the day they decided not to prosecute, the U.S. attorney in the state of Maryland notified my attorney that they would take up the charges. This charge is a simple misdemeanor, ma'am. I got on a plane. I voluntarily came here. I am already on federal pretrial supervision. I've had no issues with being on pretrial supervision. There's no way that I'm a flight risk, ma'am. I showed up before the president was here.
Okay. I understand, Mr. Floyd. The issue of bond is not going to be decided by me. It's going to be decided by the judge who is assigned to handle your case, okay? This is just a first appearance hearing for a case that's already been indicted. So I was just letting you know that we're not going to have a bond hearing today, but to the extent that you are before a judge, I'm telling you that bond is not going to be issued today. All right?
Then when will that next hearing be, ma'am?
That'll be up to Judge McAfee. All right? Judge McAfee is going to be the one who's handling your case. This is just your first appearance hearing to notify you of your rights and notify you of the charges that have been brought against you.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Okay? All right. Well, that's all we're doing today, Mr. Floyd.
Okay, now, I don't agree with Floyd I think that he's learning real early that he's going to be in this thing by himself. Trump is not coming to your rescue. And so, but this whole bond situation to me was a bit perplexing because if this man has an open charge, first of all, he has not been convicted. It's just an allegation, just like these are allegations. So you have not been charged and it's a simple assault. So it's a misdemeanor. Allegedly, it's against an FBI agent. Stop resisting is kind of what they do. So I'm always going to look at that whole charge a little, to the left, a little to the side of my side eye it. But how is Trump out here? And this is what he should be thinking on how this is going to go. How is former President Donald Trump out here living his best life with 3, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 currently pending indictments that he is out on bond for each and every one of them. And he was able to get a $200,000 bond. How is it that the other 2 individuals, thank you so much for, even if you missed, you know what? That might be a word. Thank you, No Strays Entertainment. I appreciate it. How are you in this whole group right here? She got $75,000 bond. He got $75,000 bond. The pastor got 75, but you get no bond because of a simple assault, an allegation at that. You ain't even been convicted. You don't even have a record, and you get no bond. And she said you gotta wait, and you can do a whole full bond hearing in front of your judge, sir. If you get off on that federal case, this is what I suggest. I know that Georgia has those first time offender rules, that them plans or whatever, diversion programs, where if you go in and you do what they tell you to do and then they'll drop your charges. I suggest, because now you see you out here on your own. You did all of this stuff allegedly, according to this indictment. Again, you're innocent until proven guilty. But allegedly, you did all of this for Trump, and you don't even have the money for a lawyer. You don't even have the money for a lawyer. Then you make too much money, obviously, to get a court appointed. He tried to get a court appointed. Then he's pleading to this judge saying, I have a daughter, I have a wife, we can't financially afford this and all. You think they care? They do not care if you can financially afford this. She basically told you what you're going to have to do, Mr. Floyd, is represent yourself if you can't afford a lawyer. So then he goes on to say, well, all the lawyers said it's going to be between a $40,000 and $100,000 retainer. Sir, it is a 19 count RICO indictment. Do you know how much time it may take for this case? Absolutely, you're going to have to pay a nice hefty retainer to take a lawyer's whole time and attention. So as I said before, all three of y'all that's on this screen, my unsolicited advice is you start singing like a bird. Start singing. Tell whatever you know. Listen, oh, he did this, he did that, he did everything that you said. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? He did this, he did that, he did everything in this indictment. What do you want me to say? Hey, I'll be in this joint singing like a mug. You got your preview from this hearing. If you didn't get nothing else, Floyd, you got your preview. You got your preview. You got your bond denied in every last one of these defendants. All 19 of them got. All of them have bond, but you, because you have she said, because you have an open. It was like she was just trying to come up with something. The DA ain't even say nothing. They was like, do you have any state? Do you have any position? Do you have anything to say? No. You don't even have the most counts of everybody else. So anyway, guys, that's what occurred today, is that our boy Floyd learned that he is out here on his own. He is out here on his own. And because he's out here on his own, he needs to get him a good attorney who will sit next to him and tell him, listen, bro, I'm pleading. So you don't have to go all the way to the end. I'm a plea with whatever I can get. He don't want to, at least in state court, you can get your record expunged. Federal, you can't. But at least in state court, you can. Or again, he may qualify for one of those first offender programs if he gets rid of that other case. And maybe they have something else, Listen. You said running behind Trump. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's what I told you guys last Friday. I said the bad part is Trump probably doesn't even know some of these people. They don't even know. Like, so you get the guy with the collar, Pastor Lee of the Lutheran Church. He's a former cop, and he moves to Chicago, and I think he was like a cop in LA. So he moves to Chicago, and he becomes, they call him American chaplain. So you go there, and then how do you get all the way to Georgia in order to try to bother allegedly Miss Freeman? And then you say, well, she's not very compliant with me, or she doesn't feel comfortable with me because I'm a white guy. So let me go get the black people to come in and help. Let me ruin their lives too and pull them up in here. Because he pulled them in there, according to the indictment, allegedly. They all use bail bondsmen. It doesn't make sense not to use a bail bondsman because then you only got to do 10%. So that means that Trump had to pay what, $20,000 because you got to do 10%. I'm sure Cuddy, and they all, I think, are using the same bail bondsman. That's why I said the bail bondsman is making bank. 19 of them coming to him like back to back. Like, okay, we'll offer it. Cuddy, I think she got a $75,000 bond, so you got to pay $7,500. And then the attorney, let me tell you about this this guy, the clergy guy. So his attorney was talking today. His attorney was talking today, and so let me tell you what he had to say. He said, so Lee's attorney is David Shestokas. He told the Chicago Sun that the 70-year-old would surrender on Friday morning just before a noon deadline set by Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis. So he says bond for Lee was set at $75,000, which he said is excessive. He's a pastor. This is supposed to be a quote from the lawyer for Pastor Lee. He's a pastor. These are not folks that do things to get wealthy, end quote. Huh? These pastors out here, they got more money than people that's working 9 to 5s. What are you talking? Like, where has this attorney been? He does not know that there's a lot of super wealthy pastors out here now. That vow of poverty is the thing of the past. Okay, these are pastors are coming up and they are riding in Bentleys and Benzes and Maybachs. Okay, this is not back in the day where they're taking the vows of poverty. So what are you even talking about? So then he says, quote, yes, private jets. Okay, they are getting money from the churches to upgrade their private jets when they get too old. This is the day and age we're in. So he says there's no reason to believe he's a flight risk. I advised him that he is not a wealthy man and wouldn't be able to make bond. So this is what, I guess, when they were doing their little negotiation, he was like, he's not going to be able to make bond. So he comes with his collar because I guess what they think that they're not going to buy the clergy when he's in Fulton County ghetto jail. So, but as of Friday, the Fulton County jail indicated that he was released after being booked. Some of Lee's bond funds may have been provided by the Christian organization Illinois Family Institute, which denounced on Thursday that it was fundraising to support Lee, whom they called, quote, Americans Chaplain. So a Christian organization out of Illinois is fundraising allegedly to help pay his legal fees. And Floyd, you can't get nobody to help you. And you did all of this. Did you say Black Voices for Trump? You can't get them people to do a GoFundMe for you? This is pitiful. Lee of Orland Park III faces 5 counts in the indictment handed up by a grand jury August 14th in connection with his alleged attempt to pressure Georgia election worker Ruby Freeman to falsely admit to committing election fraud. Lee and Chicago publicist Travion Cuddy are both charged with violation of Georgia's RICO Act, conspiracy to solicit false statements, and writing and influencing witnesses. Lee faces 2 additional counts of criminal attempt to influence witnesses. Cuddy, who formerly worked with Kanye and R. Kelly, also turned herself in Friday and was released on $75,000 bond. In December 2020, Lee was captured on police body camera footage when authorities responded to a 911 call from Freeman, who is publicly accused by Trump and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani of counting illegal ballots, the Sun-Times reported. So that wasn't enough for you, Pastor Lee, when she called the cops on you and said that she didn't want to be bothered with you? That wasn't enough, huh? So she called the police about him coming to her house. So Freeman called 911 after Lee allegedly repeatedly was knocking on her door. When confronted in his vehicle, Lee, who was wearing his collar, see, people try to use this collar. Oh, that's a whole nother lie. Told the cops he was working with some folks to help Ruby out and get some truth. Let me say that again. Pastor Lee said when he was confronted in his vehicle by the police, Lee, who was wearing his collar, told the cops he was working with some folks to help Ruby out and get some truth. When Freeman refused to speak to him, prosecutors say Lee recruited Cuddy and Harrison Floyd when the director of Black Voices for Trump to set up a meeting with her. According to the Fulton County indictment, Lee told Floyd that he thought Freeman was afraid to talk to him because Lee was we read all that. And then it says Lee was a police officer in California in the 1980s before being ordained as a minister through the conservative Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod, according to the website of his former organization, Peace Officer Ministries. He is currently the pastor serving at Living Word Lutheran Church in Orland Park, southwest of Chicago. So, Floyd, you're going to need somebody to come to on your behalf. Perhaps you need to do a fundraiser because you were Trump. Y'all do all of this for this? Do you guys have caught cases for this man who, again, probably doesn't know anything about you and you can't even afford an attorney? It is pathetic and it is pitiful. But again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Pastor can have his collar in ministry. He is America's chaplain. Yes. Oh, Lord. All right, I'm looking at some. So this is probably the same person because people don't have nothing but time to make new. I don't even get YouTube. First of all, I'm not being mean and nasty. You can say what you want to say. I'm reading documents. That's what I'm doing. Now, you may be mad at the documents that I'm reading. Go get mad at the DA because she's the one that said this. She's the one that's been investigating this for 2.5 years. And why don't you leave yourself? Why would you even make me have to use my energy or my mods use their energy to block you? And why do everyone feel like every thought that comes to their mind, they have to say? Because you want me to address you. That's why. Because what you say, first of all, RO, who is that? What does that even mean? See, people are so tough on the internet. It's almost frightening how tough people get on the internet. You don't even have to at least have a full name, a profile picture, and a way that I could contact you. Because it's no problem. You can contact me. Everybody knows who I am. So again, why don't you just refrain? You don't have to say that at all. Just don't come back. You think I care about whether you think I'm rude or nasty? You think that I'm going to miss one wink of sleep because somebody named RO who put their name as RO and don't have a real name got something to say? It's not gonna affect me. But anyways, have a good night, RO. So, anyways. So we get America's chaplain and America's mayor. Yep. And America's president. Don't forget, Trump is America's president. So anyway. So anyway. Right. Like, you want to be addressed. Like, if you say stuff like that, it's like you want to be addressed. And half the time I don't have time to like, I wish I could interact with the comments, but most of my commentary and most of my content is document. So I'm reading most of the time where I'm not paying attention to what's in the chat. But today a few of you guys have caught my peripheral vision, and so I've been able to respond to it. But I just don't even understand that concept on YouTube. It's like, I just want to let you know that I don't like you and I don't like your attitude, but I'm over here and I'm just gonna watch you anyway. And you probably gonna block me, but like, just block yourself. Just don't. It's 1,000 people on YouTube. It's 1,000 lawyers on YouTube. You have the right to go and watch what you want to watch. That's your cup of tea. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, and that's okay. It's like you want me to know about you, who won't even say who you really are, that you exist. So anyway. Everybody just gets mad, like, and and then the bad part is people don't even know I've never said what my political affiliations are. I've never said who I voted for. I've never said what I vote for. I don't say any of that. So people to come in the comments and just make assumptions like, oh, you're just pro this person or pro that person. I don't even reveal that. So how do you even come to that by the way that I'm just giving the information? But whatever. Yes, please, or hit the dislike button. I don't care. It all go in the algorithm regardless. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's cool. I really do. Who's next? You being rude and nasty. Like, oh, okay. RO, thank you so much, whoever you are. What? Anyways. Right, and I'm sleepy, and I still gave him an hour. Hey, Auntie Natty, how are you? That's it. That's all I care about. And when I've never done prosecution work. I tell people that I've done defense work. That's why, even though I think Mr. Floyd wasn't that bright to get involved in any of this, if he is involved in it, because again, innocent until proven guilty. But that bond situation to me wasn't fair. How do everybody get a bond but you, all because you have an allegation? So now you got to spend at least, at minimum, you're about to be in Fulton County for the weekend. All they have told us on the news is horror stories about Fulton County, but all the rest of them, they get to get out. I just think it's unfair. I mean, fair is fair. That's it. All right. Okay, y'all, I'm about to get off of here. Y'all done got my husband on activation. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I'm tired. So make sure you guys hit the like. Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday with me. And make sure you subscribe if you have not done so already. But anyways. And I am going to, as soon we'll be following this. Again, I have to break it down because as you see, that indictment is 98 pages. And we will be here until next week trying to read the whole indictment on here. And I'll probably lose half of you guys on the way. So as they come out, like maybe we'll do a separate one with the attorneys or a separate one. Like I have to find a way to split it up if you guys are interested in following how this case moves. But it looks like there is a trial date that they're trying to set for October. Of course, everybody's not going to agree with that. And maybe the people that know they're going to plea anyway. So they're like, shoot, let's set a trial date. I just want to get this over with. Trump don't know me. I don't really know him. Let me just get this over with and say what I know. or whatever. But I think the first guy that was asking to have a speedy trial, he wanted it in November. And Madam DA said, oh, I'll do you one better. We can do it in October. So she's like, I'm ready. I've been sitting with this case, sleeping with this case for the last 2 years. And so she says she's prepared. So, all right, guys, I will holler at you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.